Now, because of how tough the housing market is right now, people who do want to buy are actually moving away from 30-year mortgages and moving towards an even riskier loan product. Can you guess what it is? It is the adjustable rate mortgage. The mortgage data just came out for this past week, and overall, total mortgage application volume dropped 4.7% last week compared to the previous week, although it was actually 14% higher for the same week 1 year ago. So that is notable. But take a look at what's happening right now. Refinance activity is still 18% higher than it was 1 year ago. And adjustable rate mortgage applications increased to 9.5% of all mortgage applications last week. So people are moving away from 30-year loans, getting riskier loans, which are adjustable rate mortgages if they want to buy. And then on top of that, a lot of the mortgage activity that we're seeing happen are mortgage refinances, which we know that more than half of these refinances, people are actually doing cash out refinances. That came out in data just a few weeks back from ICE. This is not a good look for the housing market, where people need to pull out this much money from their homes to be able to pay bills and survive. And anybody who is buying a home today is turning towards a riskier way of borrowing just to get the transaction done. That doesn't bode well for where the future of things are going right now. And funny enough, with some new data that came out from ICE this week, from the October 2025 Mortgage Monitor report, they're saying that housing affordability is the best that it's been in years right now, and here's why. First of all, 30-year mortgage rates are at about 6.26% as of the middle of September, which are about 6.3% right now. They're saying that principal and interest payments on an average price home has fallen to $2,148, which is 30% of the median household income, which is also still 5 percentage points higher than the long run average of about 25% of the median household income. But it's lower than where it was in middle of 2023 at its peak at 35% of the median household income. So relatively speaking, the percentage of income that people need to spend to buy a home today is 5% less than it was about a year and a half ago. So they're saying this is great news because affordability is improving. And that's something I will agree with. It is great news that affordability is improving, but don't be fooled because it's not the wonder drug that everybody wants you to believe that it is. Because we all know that buying a home is still very unaffordable under these conditions. Because they're going to say, oh, you should go out and buy a house because look, the Fed's probably going to cut interest rates more, which doesn't actually mean we're going to see mortgage rates come down, but so many people think that's what it actually means, but it doesn't. They also tell you, oh, look, there's less competition right now. You have increased affordability. Home sales are at 30-year lows. It's a good time to go out there and be a buyer because you just don't have as much competition as we had, say, 3 years ago when the frenzy was at an all-time high in 2022. And also, they really are targeting existing homeowners because they say, listen, if you need to sell your house to buy another house, well, this also affects you because if prices are coming down, well, that means you're also going to have to sell your house at a lower price as well as buy another house at a lower price. So the more prices come down, the less you're going to get for your current home, which is why I would recommend anybody who's in this situation, the best thing you can actually do is to sell now. Actually, selling last year would have been better, but selling now is second best, and take that money and rent for a year or two and then go and buy, because then you're going to be able to capitalize on your investment today and get the most out of the house that you can now, while simultaneously waiting for prices to drop even further, which means when you do buy, you're going to have a lower payment, you're going to have lower property taxes, lower insurance, lower everything just by waiting another year or two.